Good evening. Welcome to tonight's bulletin of news at 8. My name is Esther Chomgasho, your tonight's anchor. But before I start, let's see what comes in tonight's headlines.
Headlines brought to you by
Centenary Publishing House, the leading publishers of prayer and hymn books since 1977. Among them we have Ateso, Luo, Runyankole Ruchiga, Runyoro Toro, and many other Ugandan languages. Contact us on 0756 174 168 for more information.
Tonight in News at 8, go a step further by creating safe and nurturing environments that promote self-discovery among learners. Education experts urge teachers.
Please take note, you are the other parent. Apart from teaching them the chemistry, the syllabus you want to finish, do that parenting part. These children have different habits, characters. Some are weird because they are coming from different environments. They are coming from different backgrounds.
Also tonight, Gama's appointment as CEO Uganda Airlines challenged. Legislators demand investigations into the past airline challenges.
I want to start with the target. What were the targets when Museveni was hand-picking? Because I have told you all the airlines in Africa loss making. Did we know how much loss we will make by reviving the Uganda airline? So if you are judging Bamuturaki emotionally, you're going to make the same mistakes. Because there are people who think when you bring an Ethiopian, Uganda airline will be making profits.
And in the international news, Russia-Ukraine war. Russia launches overnight drone and missile. Zelensky demands justice, and many more in News at 8.
brought to you by
Centenary Publishing House, the leading publishers of prayer and hymn books since 1977. Among them we have Ateso, Luo, Runyankole Ruchiga, Runyoro Toro, and many other Ugandan languages. Contact us on 0756 174 168 for more information.
Well, in tonight's bulletin, education stakeholders are calling teachers to create safe and supportive spaces in schools that allow children to freely explore their abilities and discover their true potentials. They emphasize that beyond academic excellency, learners need guidance, mentorship, and encouragement to express themselves, build confidence, and develop their unique talents. Experts say when children feel heard and valued, they are more likely to thrive both in class and in their lives. We have more of the details.
As schools continue to focus on academic performance, education experts are now urging teachers to go a step further by creating safe and nurturing environments that promote self-discovery among the learners.
I believe is teaching is a calling. As a teacher, you are actually the other parent of that particular child who is in your class, or who is in your school, or who is under your care. As the children come to school, please take note, you are the other parent. Apart from teaching them the chemistry, the syllabus you want to finish, do that parenting part. These children have different habits, characters. Some are weird because they are coming from different environments. They are coming from different backgrounds. They have been home in different societies, which we actually don't blame them because sometimes they didn't call for them, but somehow, somewhere they ended up there. Teachers, as you're teaching them, can you have that humanity part in you, the parenting part in you, to help these children? Talk to them, create 5 minutes.
They urge that when children are given room to express themselves, explore their interests, and develop their talents without fear of judgment, they grow into confident and well-rounded individuals.
Talking to your child, because actually in this era we believe beating does not help children, but talk to those children, and parents, create rapport with these teachers. They'll help you actually understand your child better, because they see they are always with them for the most of their times, and they will understand what characters does Rachel have. If they talk to them and they fail, let that parent please also evolve in, talk to them, set punishments which are actually understandable, and teaching punishments, by the way. I'm not talking about the corporal punishments. Set punishments, set rules. Parents, do the cross-check of the books. Talk to the matrons. Actually, when you take your child to school, please note, a teacher is facing very many children. They are handling very many children with a lot of responsibilities. But we have even other people in the school, the matrons and the wardens.
Academic excellence alone is no longer enough, as children must be equipped with hands-on skills, creativity and confidence to thrive in today's competitive world.
They sleep with your children. They know the characters. How do they behave even in their residential areas or homes or dormitories or hostels. Can you befriend them and help you? Let your matron help you. Let your warden help you, because as I said before, parenting is a God-given role which you're not going to pause at one day and then you say, okay, by the time the holiday starts, that's when I'm a parent. No. Today, you're a parent. Even when they go back to school, you are a parent. Yes.
Stakeholders stress that when talent development and skills training are prioritized alongside academics, children are better prepared to face real-life challenges and compete in the rapidly changing world.
Well, in other news, the section of opposition members of parliament have raised concerns over the appointment of Gama Work as acting chief executive officer of Uganda Airlines, calling for thorough investigation and adherence to proper appointment procedures. The lawmakers urge that lessons from the airline's previous challenges must be addressed before new leadership skills as we take over.
In a letter addressed to the Minister of Works and Transport, President Yoweri Museveni appointed former Chief Executive Officer of Ethiopian Airlines Gama Work as a consultant and acting CEO of Uganda Airlines. According to the President, Wake will work closely with the airline's board until a substantive CEO is appointed. The appointment followed a meeting at State House between President Museveni, Wake and Canada-based Ugandan pilot Robert Katera. The development comes after the exit of former CEO Jennifer Bamturaki, who had served in the role since 2022. However, some members of parliament have expressed dismay over the appointment and called for proper investigations before new appointments.
Omuntu agende mu office ng'amanyi nti avunanyizibwa ku ggwanga Uganda si kumanyi Museveni ng'omuntu. Omuntu agende mu office ng'asunsuddwa abantu abakugu abasobola osunsula ne kati ani yamusunsudde ono. kubanga baruwa eragira bulagizi nti mulondo ono kati bwe buzibu bwe tukola ki bwe tuyina okulemesebwa okugoberera amateeka gamanyikiddwa. So nze ndowooza nti wakyaliwo ebirumira bingi mu ntambuza y'ennyonyi eya Uganda Airline ne appointment ezikolebwa zirimu ebirumira bingi. Tosobola kugamba nti balagidde bulagizi. Kati Mwai Museveni nga yakuguka ddi mu ntambula z'ennyonyi, nga yakuguka ddi mu kusunsula n'okubuuza ebibuuzo anaakulembera ennyonyi, nga yakuguka ddi mu bisoomooza entambula y'ennyonyi. Eno ennyonyi twakakolako wano interview mu Kosase.
Chira Municipality Member of Parliament Sam Junganda cited lack of investigations for the previous collapses of the Uganda Airlines as the major problem.
Bakomyawo Uganda Airline nga tebamaze kola kunoonyereza kumala duli lwaki yali yagwa. Kati buli kyebakola bakikolera mu ngeri ya kupapirira. Ennyonyi mu nsi yonna oteekwa okusalawo lwaki ogitandise. Mu Africa ekitongole ky'ennyonyi kyokka kyokka ekikola amagoba kya Ethiopia. Lwaki kikola amagoba? Ethiopia bagitambuzanga amagye nga Russia tetuuka ku North Korea naye eri awo wakati. Omuntu mu Ethiopia asobola n'okukolera obwereere nga bakolera ggwanga. Nze nali Ethiopia nga member wa parliament bamuwa $200. Mu Uganda buli member wa parliament nga nange kwendi tufuna sente zisuka omutwalo gwa $1. Naye ate nze okusanga member wa parliament aba Ethiopia batusinga okukola.
Serukenya David, the member of parliament for Machindya Sabagabo, called for clear channels to be followed before full responsibilities of the airlines are handed over to avoid previous mistakes.
Kati nga bwe tufunye omuntu omupya nsaba abenga nayo tebadde order wabula abenga anayita mu mitendera emituufu asobole okwebuuzibwa asobole okukeberebwa obulungi oba obumanyirivu abulina. Tosobola kukola kintu ky'otamanyi kubanga tulina kye tuyita risk assessment, tuba ne kiyita nti 1 years program, the 2 years program, n'omanya kiki olina okukola, n'omanya nti ennyonyi neetaaga ki, ennyonyi service ogikola wayiseewo bbanga ki, ennyonyi makanika ngenda mujja mu nsi ki, spare ava luddawa. Ebyo byonna kuba buno bulamu bw'abantu tosobola kuyigira ku mulimu. Nja kuwa ekyokulabirako nti ffe ng'abasawo abatendeke ogenda okola omulimu gwo ng'omanyi ky'ogenda okukola, n'omanya eddagala ly'ogenda okugula. Naye kati bw'oleeta omwana wa gundi mbw'ajje akole procurement mu by'obusawo ajja kugula eddagala alireete naye nga terina ndwadde gye liwonya.
Others castigated the age factor and suggested Mr. Wake's appointment on the board given the demands of the CEO job.
Okugamba ow'emyaka 82 okwebaka nga yeerekerezaamu oba ogenda kumutta busi. So okukola kwe kujja kusinziira ku ttiimu gy'anaaba akola nayo. Mu kulaba okwange singa ekizibu kya Uganda Airlines kibadde kikwatagana na aggressive pricing, eri competitive oba networking oba market share nga beetaaga experience ngeyo kubanga Ethiopian Airlines yasukkuluma mu aspects eza market share, mu aspects eza networking ne mu aspects eza aggressive pricing emiwendo gyabwe jjo mirungi. So bwe kiba nti ago ge magezi ge twetaaga aba mulungi naye ate anyuma n'aba ku board.
Mr. Gama Wake previously served as the CEO of the Ethiopian Airlines from 2004 to 2011, where he played a vital role of transforming the carrier into the global powerhouse. He is respected for transforming Ethiopian Airlines into Africa's most profitable and globally competitive carrier through disciplined management, fleet modernization, and strategic route expansion. John Baptist Ahumza, Church of Uganda, Family TV News at 8.
Thank you so much, John Baptist Ahumza. And in other news, security was heavily deployed at court as Butambala, MP Muhammad Muwanga Chivumbi and 24 others were remanded until 10th March on terrorism charges. The magistrate declined to entertain contested evidence from the defense, instead referring the matter to High Court and directing the state to expedite investigations.
John Mary Serufu, the NUP Electoral Commissioner in Buganda, was charged with inciting violence with intent to attack NRM supporters last week, has reappeared before the Nakawa Chief Magistrate Sanula Nambozo. He had returned to apply for bail with the help of his lawyer Katotu Musime. However, his bail application could not proceed after the magistrate Sanula Namboza said she would not see the bail papers on the ECCMIS website as is required before the application can proceed. His lawyer Katoto Musime urged that he had not filed the documents, but to no avail as the chief magistrate could not see them.
From this one, I report that you have instructions to make the bail application. You have uploaded the necessary documents and you are ready to proceed.
The chief magistrate adjourned the hearing till March 3rd this year. Earlier, the government prosecutor Muhata Modong had said that he did not have a police file and neither did he know the status of the investigation. We later spoke to the prisoner's lawyer about the court proceedings.
Bategereza court nti ffe twabadde ready kukola bail application nti state n'agamba nti yabadde talina police file, kitegeeza nti naye atabadde ready kubaako kyagamba kooti ekitegeeza okunoonyereza kutuuseewa oba okuddamu mu bail application bwe tuba tukikoze nti emitendera gyonna n'egyokukozesa ekimis system ffe twagikoze ku saidi yaffe nga kiteekayo buli kimu but shockingly ne batugamba mbu yo system ya kooti esobola kulaba documents nga bwe tuzitaddeyo n'olw'ensonga eyo tebasobola kugenda mu maaso nakuwulira bail application nti nategeezezza omulamuzi nti ayimirire mu katono tusobole okusootinga ekizibu kino wakati we system administrator naffe oba ewaffe bibadde biraga era mwandabye nga nzigulawo esimu yange nga ndaga kooti ne state attorney nti oluvannyuma ne bigaana nti naye bino byonna bibaawo olw'okuba nti judiciary yatandika system ya ekimis nga tebali beetegefu nga ndowooza n'ekyokugikolera ekiddako tebakimanyi yagibaguza n'akomaawo nti kati system bwekulema saidi yo tokinenyereza nze tonenya nze looya akoze obwange oba omuntu aze kusaba okweyimirira tomugaso gwa bino byonna kutuyambako nze nsobole okuteeka empapula z'abeeyimirira omuntu n'ezoogera ku muntu oyo gwe tuze kusabira okweyimirira kooti esobole ozitegera nti era ne hardcopy tuze nazo tuziina naye olw'ensonga eyo tosobola nayedde kuyimiriza mu kooti sotinga ekizibu ekyo oba otukkirize tukuwa empapula nga bwe ziri nga system bwetereera ebyo byonna bitulaga embeera gye tuyisibwamu nti judiciary eno yaffe gye tulimu eyandibadde nkulu nnyo era nga yeyina okukwasiza amateeka gaffe okukuuma eddembe lyaffe n'okuliza mu nteeko obanga waliwo eyalikyobodi tasobola otuulawo n'akugamba nti olw'okuba sisitemu zeewange tendaga ddayo eruzira wiikisi 2 okomyewo nga 3 kyekibaddewo mu kooti ya John Mary Sebufu naye tebijja tumala mu maanyi tujja kugenda mu maaso ffe tukole kye tulina okukola era eggwanga liba liraba kyebigenda mu maaso bino byonna birimu okutiisatiisa abantu bateekamu embeera eyo nti tobaako kyokola tobaako kyoyogera olw'okuba bagenda kusiba era omale eruzire ebbanga bwe lityo olw'okuba balina ke bagezaako okwekwasa bikadde.
According to the prosecution, John Mary Sebufu, 54, a resident of Nakawa and a head of elections for the National Unity Platform Party in Buganda, allegedly in the months of October and November 2025, in various areas of Kampala, Mukono, Masaka and Mpigi, incited violence with the intent to harm supporters of the NRM party.
Well, that story was summing up the first segment of News at 8, but before I go, let's see what the Archbishop has for us in the Archbishop's Moment.
Archbishop's Moment, sponsored by Uganda Christian University, a center of excellence in the heart of Africa. Join the UCU experience now. And
St. John's Wakiso Secondary School, where faith meets education.
You and me, the whole of last year and up to now, your coffin is not yet made. Give God a mighty hand clap. It is easier to grumble than to appreciate. That's why God calls the Israelites when you enter Canaan, don't forget, keep the Sabbath. In Psalms 103, praise the Lord my soul. Praise the Lord my soul, and all that within me, and forget not his benefits. Because human beings are always forgetting. I'm so grateful that we are here to give thanks to God because of what he is, which makes us what we are. We are what we are because of what God is. And God is a God who was, who is, and who will be. The Son of God yesterday, today, and tomorrow. The God who knew your end before you knew your beginning. And that's the God we are coming to appreciate. And we are here to say, thank you, God.
Archbishop's Moment. Sponsored by Uganda Christian University, a center of excellence in the heart of Africa. Join the UCU experience now. And
St. John's Wakiso Secondary School, where faith meets education.
All right, Archbishop says, let's always have a small time and go. Thank God, because he's always the God that makes us believe in him. For now, let's go for a short commercial break. We shall be back with the second segment of News at 8. Stay tuned.
Are you ready to rediscover the beauty of Uganda, the Pearl of Africa? Join us every Thursday at 10 p.m. on Church of Uganda Family TV for the Pearl Show, your weekly passport to Uganda's most breathtaking destinations, vibrant cultures and hidden treasures. From the misty hills of Kabale to the world wonders of Maxon Falls, from local legends to untold stories of faith, heritage and hospitality. The Pearl Show is where travel meets inspiration. Experience the people, feel the spirit, only on Family TV, where every journey leads you closer to the heart of Uganda. Don't miss the Pearl Show, Thursday at 10 p.m. on Church of Uganda Family TV. Travel, discover, believe, Uganda.
In a time where every decision matters, where leadership, governance, and accountability define our future, we break down the social and economic issues affecting everyday citizens. This is the show that asks the hard questions. Beyond politics, we focus on facts, analyses, and real solutions. Join the conversation, because the future begins at the bottom line.
People, when they're on the roads, they are looking out for traffic officers to comply. But when they are out of the sight of traffic officers, they are doing their own things, which is very wrong.
Of course, there will always be penalties for non-compliance.
The spaces that would remain as pathways to the arcades are packed by borders, fully filled. Other spaces which would be left there are filled by the taxis that have filled the two parks, are all now littered, completely blocking every facility that is within the shops. So this is something that no country would bear.
It is the duty of police to keep law and order.
Issues at hand.
When God was creating fish, he spoke to the waters. When he was creating the trees, he spoke to the ground. When he was creating the birds, he spoke to the skies.
From Job chapter 1 verse 21, Job gives us the reason to thank even when things are not good. Yeah, Job says we shall not only thank the Lord when things are good, but even when things are bad.
But God is kind. He extends his hand and he draws us back into a safe space.
From that short commercial break, I'm glad you're still with us here on Church of Uganda Family TV. My name is Esther Chomgasho. Continuing with tonight's bulletin, security was heavily deployed at court as Butambala MP Muhammad Mwanga Chivumbi and 24 others were remanded until March 10th on terrorism charges. The magistrate declined to entertain context evidence from the defense, instead referring the matter to High Court and directing the state to expedite investigations. We have the details.
Security was heavily deployed inside and outside the court premises as MP Mwanga Chivumbi and 24 others were brought back to court following an order by Magistrate Deogracious Sejemba. Mwanga Chivumbi arrived at the court at around 9 a.m., his supporters, upon seeing the vehicle carrying him, began cheers and singing party songs. His legal team, led by Elias Lukwago, Medad Lubega Segona and Samuel Muizi, arrived at 10 a.m. and spent over 2 hours with the accused in the holding cells. Before proceeding began, a shuffle broke out outside court when supporters confronted City Councillor Kanale Mwa Subuga, accusing him of working with investigators. He was reportedly roughed up before police intervened and restored order. When court began, Deogratias Sejemba first ruled out on the defense's request. Lawyers had asked to dismiss alleged prejudicial evidence and allow their client to make a statement. The magistrate referred these matters to the High Court, ordered the lawyers to swear affidavit and direct the state to speed up investigations. Afterwards, Chivumbi's team, led by Segona and political figures including Aisha Kawanda, Jude Mbabali, spoke to the media about the case.
Government yetuwulire okunoonyereza kwayo kugwa ddi. In the first place, omuntu omugezi teyandivunaanye nga tanoonyereza. Gadde nnyo tumanye okunoonyereza kwabwe kutuuseewa kugwa ddi. Abaana bano tubasalira amagezi basobole okudda mu masomero basome. Mulimu abaana abaatuula ebigezo ng'ebigezo byakomyewo ebya senior 4 nini ebya senior 6 obudde bwonna bikomawo. Omwana oyo alina okuteekateeka obulamu bwe obuddako agende ku ssomero asobole okusoma. Naye n'abatasoma balina ebyokukola bingi. Ekimu ku bikuumira ensi zaffe zino emabega kwe kuddira abantu ab'omugaso abali mu myaka egy'okukola ne mubakuumira mu makomera nago ne mugajjuza nnyo ne tubongera emmere ne tuba nga tusaasaanya ssente nnyingi ku bantu abatalina kubeera mu makomera ate eggwanga ne lisigala ebweru nga libonaabona kubanga ate abandi badde mu makomera bali bweru basiba balamu.
Tulumanyo nti no abakozi ba gavumenti bayisanga batali bazadde. Abaana bano balina ebibakwatako byonna bamanyi nti ono omwana agundi asoma gindi kubanga babakuba talimu kubasooka kubajjako. Bakimanyi nti baana bato, bakimanyi nti baana basomero nolanga omuntu tafaayo nga bagamba bakyanoonyereza nga tebamanyi nti banoonyerezako tebalina musango.
Somero nga basoma so tegezeza omulamuzi nga baloya b'abaana bano nti abaana bano beetaaga okugenda okusoma. N'olwekyo state bwejjanga buli kiseera egamba tunakumaliriza kunoonyereza omulamuzi tumulaze nti ekyo kikyamu kubanga abaana bajja kusigala nga bali mu kkomera nga tebagenze kusoma ate taamwe bayiteko. Abamu bali mu candidate classes. Omwaka bwe gutandika candidate bwaluzinga taamu olw'omwezi abajja kugwa. So ekyo twagadde okukijja. Ekyokubiri, abaana abato bano abamu basibwa n'abantu abakulu. Kinakyo tekikkirizibwa mu mateeka.
Mwanga Chivumbi was arrested on the 22nd of last month and charged with terrorism at Butambala Court. He and his co-accused are alleged to have attacked Kibibi police station and set fire to property at Gombe district headquarters between the 12th and 17th of last month, leaving 7 people dead and destroying 7 vehicles. After the hearing, they were returned to custody under tight security and are expected to be back to court on March 10th.
As Uganda races towards its long-awaited first oil in July 2026, the spotlight is shifting beyond walls and pipelines to the people powering the industry. In a high-level meeting convened by National Organization of Trade Union, NOTU, labor leaders, government officials, and oil and gas stakeholders gathered to chart a path that places workers' rights at the center of the country's emerging petroleum sector. The engagement, held in a collaboration with the Petroleum Authority of Uganda, underscored a growing consensus.
The National Organization of Trade Unions NOTU leadership has today held a high-level engagement meeting with stakeholders in oil and gas companies, labor officers from oil-producing regions, and the Petroleum Authority of Uganda. The dialogue focused on ensuring that workers' rights are respected as Uganda prepares for commercial oil extraction. Speaking during the meeting, NOTU Secretary General Richard Bigirwa emphasized the importance of safeguarding workers' welfare in the rapidly growing sector. Richard Bigirwa noted that workers in oil and gas companies must be happy and protected where at work to guarantee successful oil extraction. He highlighted key concerns, including social protection, freedom of association, and occupational health and safety standards.
We have also clearly told the oil companies that the freedom of association for the workers working in the oil sector should be respected. We have also told the oil companies that we need the issues of OSH, occupational health and safety, respected. The issues of social protection, they need to be protected. We need to ensure that both public and private accountability is enhanced if the country is to move forward.
Bigirwa urged oil companies to strengthen coordination with trade unions to ensure workers' concerns are addressed promptly. He also called for policy reforms, particularly reviewing policies that allow investors to repatriate all profits without adequate benefit to the country and its workforce.
I want to appeal some of the oil companies which have not been able to participate today that we come in good faith, and I would like to have a dialogue which is meaningful and which promotes productivity. Would like also to ask the government that would like the citizens of this country to benefit from the oil. Number two, would like some of the policies changed. We cannot have a policy whereby an investor has a right to take all the profits he wants.
NOTU Chairman Okero Musa stressed that trade unions must be fully represented in the oil and gas sector to effectively defend workers' rights.
The issue of unionization in this sector needs to be addressed, and to be addressed urgently, because you cannot talk about grievance handling in the absence of the unions. It is a pretense. So we need to address it as quickly as possible. Representation in any sector is very important. You cannot address my issues without my presence or my representation. You would be doing something else.
Meanwhile, Anita Wakajara, chairperson of the Workers' League, underscored that even as the oil and gas sector registers significant progress, protecting workers' rights must remain a top priority.
We have found that it is doing well, and we thank the government that it is progressing well. We thank the workers that are there, that are helping to make sure that it is progressing well. However, there are some issues, small issues, the issues that we need to address, such that the production of oil and the distribution of oil is perfect, is okay.
Joshua Rukaye, Assistant Commissioner in the Upstream Petroleum Department at the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, said that although the oil and gas sector is still new in Uganda and lacks sufficient local experts in some areas, government policy ensures that Ugandans are given first priority in employment opportunities.
Mechanism put in place by government in general, government institutions, not only Ministry of Energy. We have Ministry of Energy, we have Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, we have Petroleum Authority of Uganda. They all come together as government to address issues of workers. So it's not only Ministry of Energy in isolation, it is a whole team. And you and me will agree that the experts in employment or labor issues is Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, and so they are the lead agency.
He added that the government has put in place mechanisms to address workers' concerns across the country, including those employed in the oil and gas industry.
Among other innovative ways, we have training of Ugandans, Ugandan companies, having a national talent register to see to it that Ugandans who have qualifications are registered somewhere, so that if, for example, your companies indicate that you lack this capacity, Petroleum Authority of Uganda has a national talent register. They can cross-check and confirm no, this capacity exists, maybe try to check again. There are a lot of innovations by government. And so the Petroleum Fund is aimed at supporting local companies to be able to have the finances required or to gain the right financial muscle to participate in the sector.
According to Rukaye, Uganda is set to begin oil and gas extraction in July 2026.
When are we expecting oil and gas to drop, first drop of oil or production? The target is to July 2026, this year. And like I shared with you during the workshop, you can see that most of the projects, development projects that need to be in place before you can realize oil, they have all progressed. The drilling of wells, what is needed before we see the first oil, we see many of them are beyond 100%. So
other stakeholders who attended the dialogue also raised concerns about strengthening worker protections and ensuring sustainable labor practices within oil and gas companies.
That is, what they have been doing to address those grievances. I know some have been addressed. Those ones who have been having compensation issues have been compensated, but there are those ones who are really in pain. When it comes to Lisa district, I think people need to go and do something.
Don't violate the environmental policies. So the same thing with the workers. If you sign the contract as Total, you should also guide the contractor on how to deal with the workers.
Julius Mhomza, Church of Uganda Family TV, News at 8.
Another round of peace negotiations between Russia and Ukraine about to get underway. The US broker talks are taking place in Geneva, but Moscow says it does not expect any news from the talks today and that they are scheduled to continue on Wednesday. And just hours before the negotiations began, both sides reportedly decided to flex their muscles. Kiev says that Moscow launched a massive overnight barrage at the city of Odessa and the Dnipropetrovsk region. Ukraine says it downed 25 missiles, 367 drones. Despite this, Kiev says at least 13 locations were still hit. In fact, Ukraine says Russia used the Iskander-M ballistic missiles, Iskander-K cruise missiles, Kh-101 cruise missiles, and at least one air-to-surface missile. Kiev also says Moscow launched close to 400 drones of various types. At least 3 Ukrainians have been killed, 9 injured in the latest attacks. In a social media post, he asked the partner countries to hold Russia to account. He added that diplomacy would be more effective if there is justice and strength. And his remarks coming hours after both the Russian strike